Good morning. This is my job for today. I need to just tidy up this edge a little bit, and then I'm going to be putting mulch from this area all the way past that sign to the end where there are irises over there. So yeah, I'm going to get started. I think there are some flowers I need to dig out on the other side, but we'll see how far I get today. And just so that we're all clear, I'm at an industrial property and they don't have compost pickup, so today anything I dig out is going to go into the garbage bag and get disposed of like that, whereas usually I prefer to bag it in paper bags and have it picked up by compost, but it's not an option here. So anyway, that's it. And one more thing I'd like to add. Being an industrial place, the company has gone all out with their flowers. They're the only one that looks like this in the area, and the town often recognizes it, so kudos to the owner. He's pretty awesome letting people like me come in and plant some really beautiful flowers instead of just having different grasses and shrubs. So anyway, I just wanted to recognize him. He's pretty awesome. So we do this so that I make a trench along here so that the roots from the grass don't grow so quickly into the soil of the garden. And once it's mulched, you won't see this edge, but it'll be hard for the grass to grow in. So the job lasts longer and looks better and cleaner. And so yeah, if you wonder why I do deep trenching like this around the edge of all the gardens, it's so that the grass roots have a harder time getting into the garden. So sometimes you got to be a little careful. There's a pipe here. I don't actually know what it's attached to or what it does. I would assume part of the irrigation, but there's no cap on the end of that. It's just an open hole. So it's good to keep a note of that, just in case there is a problem with the irrigation system. They might, if it got wet here, they'd know where to check from this video. So got a few purposes for recording these things. So there's a bit of a funny story about when I first started working here last year. It was my first season with this company, and I showed up for work very early, and they're in the middle of an industrial park, so there's a lot of trucks and cars and stuff that pass, and I had parked over there where there's the gold CRV. I'd parked right behind it thinking, oh, I'm close, and I got to working here and I was doing the edging and the weeding and whatever else, and a couple hours later I came out to go to my car for something, and the whole side of it had been hit. Somebody turning out of the driveway where there's a fire hydrant took out the whole back end of my car. I had to, well, I didn't know what to do, so I went storming into the back. So I went behind the gate over there and I tried to find somebody who was working, and I let them know that somebody had hit my car and had just taken off. And the guy didn't know what to tell me, so I ended up just calling the cops. And the cops showed up. And as we were talking, another guy showed up. And he was the owner of a company. And he said, oh, I think it was one of my guys that hit your car, and told the police that we'll take care of it together and that we didn't need to involve them any further. And so that was fine. And anyway, we got to talking. It turns out it's his company that used to do the gardens here, but because there was a little disagreement that, you know, that happens, but there's a little disagreement, so he didn't keep the job here. But it was just kind of ironic that it was his company that hit my car and not on purpose. So anyway, we started off well here in this area, but now I get to park my car in the parking lot, so there's no chance of it getting hit. And yeah, I really like coming out here because I enjoy this garden quite a bit. And I guess I should add to that story that the hit and run's bad enough, but I was already traumatized because a few weeks before that, my car had been stolen from, we had been out and my car was stolen from a parking lot, and I had to file another police report. And I got a phone call later that night saying that they had found my car and that I could go, it was being towed, and that I could go pick it up the next morning. So I did that. So get to the place and I was all excited and started the car, and the jerks had run out of gas, so they couldn't get further than they got, but they took the time to take my catalytic converter. So that was kind of crap on such a old car. You know, I keep it going because I love my car, not for really the value, but it's not a fancy car. Why'd you steal it? I don't have, you know, a lot of money to go out and invest in a new pickup truck or something for my business. And that was around the same time that I had been working for a company doing landscaping, and they had told me that March, while I was in school, that I wasn't going to be needed that year. They were closing that part of their company. They didn't want to do garden work anymore, just focus on grass and treatments. So I really needed my car because, well, I was trying to finish school. I didn't have too much energy to think about how to buy a new car. So luckily it kind of worked out. I did have to pay for a mock catalytic. I didn't get a brand new one put in because that is about $2,000. And well, like I said, it's a 2005 Honda Element, so you know, I love my car, but there's only so much money that's smart to invest in something, you know. If I could, I'd keep her going forever, but the rest is starting to cause problems. As much as the engine and everything is still in great shape, I'm always a little worried that my car is going to fall apart when I hit a big bump. And there are lots of those on the roads in Quebec, so. I always need to take time to smell the roses in the morning. Oh, they do smell good. These are baby lupins. So all this will get covered with mulch, so we don't mind. We just want it to be flat. We don't really mind what it looks like if it's all mishmashed. this plant here is Canadian anemone. It's very pretty, but it's also very invasive. It's starting to grow here. It'll start growing in the lawn. So as much as I love native flowers, and I think they're very important to all the ecosystems, and we need to be planting more of them, you got to plant them in the right place. So something like this would be a better fit for where it's contained over there, and it couldn't spread. So I would have planted this there with nothing else, or maybe a small, I don't know, a small perennial that will grow taller than this, but this will basically take over. You see the irises? It's all invading over there. It's not looking pretty. So I have permission from the owner to dig it out. I just feel bad when there are flowers digging it out. And I think I would be very careful around the irises right now, because I don't want to be digging those up while they're flowering. But I will try to get some of this out before I put down new mulch, because it's going to make a big mess. I'd love to take a clump like this and run it across the road and throw it in their garden. They get nothing. They could do with something like this. They could do with a hardy plant that'll bring food for pollinators, and you know, they don't have anything else it can mix with, so perfect. Sometimes native plants get a bit of a bad rap because they are invasive, because they grow so well here. And that's why they're native. They've lasted for thousands and thousands of years. So there is a place, like I said, I love them. And they do good things for pollinators and the ecosystem, but just these kind of gardens, not the right place. So I've got most of it dug out, but it's for sure that it's going to be popping up. And it's going to be a process like bindweed to make sure that it gets out of the garden and stays out, but it's hard to get because it pops up like here inside the irises. So I'm hoping that if I can remove enough of the green that it'll deplete the root system, which will eventually kill the plant. So the beautiful salvia and the irises, love it. They're so colorful. Just a few little tiny weeds. No roots on this one. They do pull out really easily, but no roots. My big butt just broke this beautiful iris. Aw. Oops. I don't know what happened to all the euonymus this year, but they're all looking pretty scrappy. Not just here, but in other clients' places too. I don't know what happened. It's like they got a bug or burnt, or I'm not sure. Not healthy this year though. So I realize I only have like 2 people watching these videos, but if you do have suggestions as to what kind of plant I can put in here, right there. It's got to be something for full sun, and maybe something that blooms in a different color at a different time of the year than now. There seems to be a lot of blooming going on, so maybe something for late summer. Anyway, just the thought. If I was a real YouTube channel, I'd put a poll, but I'd actually have viewers. And not just you lovely 3 people that are watching me. So next job is going to be to put the mulch. I'm not sure how many came on a pallet, but I think about 80. So this is the next job. I've got to get my wheelbarrow and everything else ready, so, but it should go pretty quick. So back in a bit. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll do 1 load with the camera, and then I'm gonna put the camera to the side and do the transporting, because it's gonna be shaky and bumpy and not much fun to watch. So see how this goes. You may wonder why I use old tools and an old wheelbarrow, and they were all my dad's. And I actually find those shovels are the best. I can't bend them. So when I find them at secondhand stores for $5, I buy them. So I forgot over here there was an extra garden, so I'm gonna go quickly do that. Oh my god! Dang. So that's it. It's all mulched, except for I'm missing maybe 1 or 2 bags for around the sign. But other than that, it's all been mulched.
J'ai fait un petit dégât là.
Quoi?
J'ai fait un petit dégât sur le toit.
Oh!
Je l'ai retassé. Je m'excuse.
C'est correct.
C'est vraiment beau.
Oh, merci.